Hi guys, I'm Manali, the photographer and owner of Manali Photography. Today I'm going to take you behind the scenes of how I set my yearly goals and my quarterly goals, how I break them down in the specific tool that I use to keep track of it all. If you follow me on Instagram, you've probably heard me talk about them. They are the Cultivate What Matters Powersheets, and they're essentially a goal planner that walks you through setting really intentional goals, breaking them down. They have quarterly check-ins, and they have what they call a monthly tending list. Let me just flip to mine and show you. And so I'm super excited to break down a little bit of how I use them and how I use them to set really great goals, how I use them to track my progress on business goals, and also a little bit of how I use them to make sure that I'm staying in my own lane and really focusing on what matters most to me, because as you probably know, it's a crazy digital world out there nowadays, and it's so easy to get distracted by what everybody else is doing. But I have found that focusing in on what you want to make matter, or what you want to make happen, and what looks like success to you is probably going to be like the best and most fulfilling way to run your business. So this is a little look at the monthly tending list, they call it, and essentially they break down like your monthly actions, your weekly actions, and your daily actions and habits. Mine looks really crazy this month. I figured I would add a little bit of color as we go into November when the leaves outside are starting to die out. It's starting to get a little chillier, but usually mine is a little bit more simple. Let me show you October's one. So you can get another good look at it. And it's really nice because you have the option, or you have the space, to write some encouraging words at the top, your top priority, again, like monthly, weekly, and daily. And something that I have always done, and I do this for my planner as well, is I actually write business stuff from the top down, and I do personal ones from the bottom up. So that's fun. And then they give you a little space on the side to just track your progress. Little check marks for the weekly and check marks for the daily. And they always say little by little progress adds up, and they're looking for progress, not perfection. And that's something that I always have to remind myself as I'm going through them. I'm like, I don't have to check everything off. Like, that's not human. That's not possible. So I love that it's a little visual reminder. I keep it right, honestly, like right here on the side. I've flipped open to the tending list every single day, so it's a visual reminder of what I'm working on every single day. And then I do also, at the start of each day, I will actually flip to my goals and check in with them before I start my workday. So I'm like really reminding myself of like why I'm doing all this hard work and what it's like going towards. And it kind of helps me, again, just like really stay in my own lane and not compare myself to other people and what they're doing in their businesses. So here they have what they call the goal refresh. So they have spots for, it's 2 pages, for 8 goals for you to fill out. And the flags are just randomly colored. So like, don't pay no mind to that. So usually they recommend you have, well, really you can have 8 goals, be whatever you want. They do have specific categories that you check in for every single quarter. But this is just what I flip to every single morning. You can see I have it like bookmarked, a little copy paper clip there. But every single quarter they have you kind of just check in with how you're doing on your goals, how you're feeling in specific areas. So let me flip to that page here. They call it the goal refresh. So here you can see there's like different boxes. And so it kind of just has you evaluate how you're doing with health. And so you have a little space to write why you gave the rating, and then what you're saying yes to and what you're saying no to. So they have 8 categories that they like kind of have you walk through and just like evaluate how it's going or how it went for the past quarter, and what you want to do moving forward. So they have health, friends, spouse, significant other. I know that they're changing this to be worded as focal relationship for the 2021 planner. They have family, finances, spiritual and personal growth, work, and recreation. So a little note on how I generally set goals. Let me flip to the very front. I'm doing this in a very backwards way. So apologies if this is confusing, but there is a ton of other YouTube videos out there that walk you like step by step through like each page of the planner, and those would be really, really good if you're interested in purchasing it. So at the beginning, they have what they call prep work. So it pretty much is like a lot of pages just asking you to go through like goal ideas, really like tap into like who you are as a person, who you're looking to become, like what are some challenges you've had, what are some things that fire you up. This is like my favorite page. You just get to like doodle on like what makes you happy and what brings joy to your life, in the hopes of like hopefully taking some of this and like incorporating that in your goals to bring that to your day-to-day or month-to-month. They have a little bit about like breaking your identity box, who you are. I write a lot, as you can see. And then they have like little quotes and stuff throughout, which are just super cute and motivating as well. So they have a lot of pages of prep work, and then you kind of go into setting your goals, but they kind of really harp on the idea of like, where do you want to be when you're older and what is going to matter to you then, and then they kind of have you think about that and reflect on that to make your goals and really focus in on that like every single year or like every single month to kind of make sure you're getting to what is going to matter the most like in the long run, rather than getting caught up in like the little things that are day to day that maybe won't matter as much down the road. So again, really pretty pages. I should probably cut this one out and put it on my board behind me or something. So then they go into this goals section, and here is where you like really narrow down your goals. So here you have a spot to write down like your 2020 goals. Obviously 2020 has been 2020, so these have definitely shifted a little bit for me. Just to run through some of mine so you can kind of get an idea is, so my number one was mental health and margin for rest and play, and I had like broken down some things. Simplifying my business and my home, relationships with loved ones, health. So I had like drinking water, exercising every single day, eating a salad 2 times per week. Don't know if I really marked that last one off, but I will work on it. If you don't know, I'm like the worst at eating greens. My boyfriend is always like eat this orange, eat this apple, like put some more spinach in our pasta, things like that. I digress. And the other ones I had were moving to Charlottesville, so that is a huge resounding yes and check mark, probably like the highlight of this year for me. I had a finances goal that has looked really different due to COVID. Adopting a puppy. This is like a TBD for this year. Again, with like the finances thing, I wanted to be really solid in my finances before I was like caring and providing for like a puppy. So we'll see about that one. I might foster one for a little bit. And then I had some business goals. So actually, most of these stayed the same. I was actually able to make a lot of progress on them and almost like do more than I was imagining at the beginning of the year. But there were definitely some things that had to pivot. So I was looking to host 2 more workshops in 2020. Obviously, in-person events are not really a thing this year. So that kind of pivoted into building out a digital product. That was something that I had in the pipeline for like a later down the years goals. So just to give you a little bit of background, like I do also every single quarter and really mostly every single year, I'll sit down and start with a blank piece of paper and I'll run through, okay, what are some goals that I have for 10 years down the road, which feels crazy. They're not like super absolute, but like just like an idea, so I have a bit of a compass of like where I'm going. And then from there, I'll work backwards and I'm like, what do I want to accomplish in the next 5 years? What do I want to accomplish in the next 3 years? This is where it starts to get like more and more tangible for me. And then I have what do I want to accomplish in the next year. So building out a digital product was more like in the next 3 years. But because I had the space and the time with a lot of weddings being rescheduled to 2021, I was able to do that this year. So that's actually huge. But yeah, so this beginning part is all about your goals. And then they have spaces too, like, and this is going to look different in the 2021 planner, but for every single goal, they have kind of like, why is it going to matter to you? Like, what's at stake if you don't do the goal? Brainstorm how to like break it down. Here they like have you break it down into like mini goals and then starting steps and then like when you're going to complete them. I found this a little bit difficult with some of my goals because some of my goals were more like habits kind of, and so it wasn't like I needed to super break them all down. But this page is changing for next year in their planner, so I'm excited. That one looks like it's a little bit easier for you to just kind of like jot down all the things and all the ideas and kind of like how you're gonna make progress towards the goal. So I think that that's gonna work better for me in my brain next year, so I'm excited to see that. But yeah, this is a little bit of a crash course. Let me walk you through what every single, sorry, my computer froze, but we're back again. I think we're good. And this is like, you always see like curated YouTube videos. I'm not a very curated person, so I'm gonna just keep this and I'm gonna keep rolling. I'm gonna walk you through what every single month looks like. So at the beginning of each month, they kind of have this page here, and it has 4 different quadrants, and it says prepare well this month, and it says important to-dos, I'm excited for, on my mind, so worries and stresses, and I'm hopeful that. I love this page to really just like jot down things. So whenever I do my monthly due day, I will go through my Cultivate prep work, so this stuff, and it just gives me a way to like brain dump my brain onto a piece of paper and kind of get all the thoughts and worries and concerns and even like important to-dos and things I'm excited about just like out onto paper. And usually I find that I have more that I'm excited about that I'm worried about, so that's always good to see like visually in front of me. And the next page, so this they have like a monthly spread every single month with every single day and like a sidebar here. At the beginning of the year, I was really good about writing down one thing that I was grateful for each day. I have changed how I utilize the space utilize the space throughout the months, because I actually jot down 10 things I'm grateful for every day in like a different journal. So I found this a little bit redundant, so I started using this a little bit differently. Let me flip to what is November. So in November, I used it to just like brainstorm my marketing strategy for the month. So I had like blog posts and Instagram post ideas written down. Again, this is a little bit redundant because I do all of this in Asana, and I'm going to film a separate video showing you how I plan out all my marketing for the month in like a day using Asana and Planoly for Instagram. So I am like rethinking how I'm going to use these pages in the future. I did do like a fun to-do fall list here, so I think that I'm going to continue to use the sidebar for that. But some other ideas are meal planning, using this to meal plan, using this to track your fitness, or what's the other one? Oh, using it to track your budget. So I'm going to work through maybe using these to do that instead, because I think that won't be as redundant for me because I already have like my gratitude and my marketing stuff elsewhere. So it's a little aside. And then they flip to this page and it says make what matters happen this month. And essentially it just has you write down which goals you want to focus on and then some action ideas for each one. Again, I think they're changing this page a little bit. They probably got feedback from people, and I felt the same way, where this wasn't as helpful for me as it was in the past. They used to have like 4 columns or something, and it was like dates, important to-dos, and 2 other things that I'm blanking on. Which again is a little bit redundant of that first page. So they're changing this for the future. I can't remember what it is going to be like off the top of my head, but I was really excited for it when I saw the change. So excited for that one. I tend to already kind of know what I'm going to put on each, like on my tending list and break it out by month, week, and day. So let me, for this one, this is getting a little long, but we're just going to run for it because I could use some extra accountability in my life, and so I'm putting it there in the YouTube world. So this is what my tending list looks like for November. Like I said, it's pretty colorful this time. Let me walk you through some of the things that I am working on and that I'm excited to make progress on this month. So I just put a sticker up here for encouraging words. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I write a quote. And one of my top priorities for the month is launching my shop. I'm super excited for it. So my monthly action items are to move some money into my business savings account for the estimated quarterly tax in January. I'm launching my shop, so I'm super excited about that. I've got a little confetti guy right there by it. And then I have been redoing my website copy, and I'm actually working with a copywriter for some of the educational stuff in my business, and I'm super, super excited for that. She does have a good bit of like prep work for that, so I have to like make sure I go through and do my part before she can work on that, and I'm so, so excited for it. I am going to be working on getting client referrals and adding in like sales automations for prints and canvases for some past photo galleries that I didn't add them to. This was something that I started doing this year. If you have a question about that, I can go into that a little bit more in another video, because I feel like a lot of people don't really talk about this, but this is a great way to pull in some passive income from your client galleries. And then I have one to send out some holiday cards, to friends, vendors, and clients. This is something I struggle with every single year. I've done it in the past, but it always takes me a lot of time, so I'm going to start a little bit earlier this year than I normally do. And then I have some fun things just to make it out to Albemarle Cider Works, which I actually did this past weekend, so I'm like, already have a little green bar going here for me, which is awesome. And then there's Potter's Craft Cider, Wisdom Oak Winery, and the Dairy Market. These are all places in Charlottesville that I've had on my bucket list forever, like since I moved here. So I'm excited to do some fall things up there. I was able to go to a corn maze this past weekend, which sounds probably like very normal or routine for some people. I've never been to a corn maze before though, so it was very fun for me. So my friends and I always do a Friendsgiving, and it's one of my favorite days of the entire year. Obviously with COVID, this is gonna look a little different this year, so I'm seeing if we can do a virtual Friendsgiving, and then I have my monthly budget written down for the month. Some weekly action items I have are posting 2 reels consistently to Instagram, doing my weekly refresh, which is kind of my routine for setting myself up for the next week, and kind of my cleaning routine. I think I might do a separate video on that one too, because I think that is just a routine that has really, really helped me just stay on top of everything and feel prepared every single week. So I have a weekly action item to call a friend, to do a date night, and then do my weekly review and gratitude, and my my monthly budget broken down into my weekly budget challenge. And then some habits I'm looking to cultivate are just doing meditating every single morning, doing yoga, making sure I hit the number of bottles of water a day I should have, cups of water. I drink out of this giant bottle, so I said bottles of water. Making sure I'm keeping my kitchen clean. There's a lot of cleaning things. Cleaning is not something that comes to me naturally, and something I'm working on getting better at. And then having plans for the evening so I don't get super bored in the evening. So that's just a little breakdown of my November goals. I will keep you guys updated on how I make progress throughout the month. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in a comment below. And if you aren't already, make sure to follow along on Instagram. And I post more of the day-to-day fun behind the scenes there. And so I would love to see you over there. Give me a follow. I'll be sure to follow back. And I hope you guys are having a great start to your month. And I can't wait to be back for more YouTube videos.